hope you can see me okay, and this is going to be alright. I thought I'd do a video of unpack our aeroplane bags with us. I recently, about a month ago now, well, me and Paulie recently got back from England. We went for 3 weeks. This is the second time I've done this trip with him. We done it last year. So last year he was 22 and a half months, 23 months, like he was almost 2 basically. And I was at the time 12 weeks. No, I flew out at 10 weeks, flew back at 13 weeks pregnant. This time we done it, he was 2.5, and I was 25 weeks when we flew out, and I was 28.5 when we flew back. So that was a massive difference. But everything I'd done was the exact same, apart from when we came back this time. I realised, like, carrying, because what we do is Paulie has his own plane bag, I have my own plane bag, and carrying 2 bags in the stopovers was so much on my shoulders this second time. So I changed it for like a cabin case, that's what they're called, and that made it so much easier. It meant that I could put Paulie's bag on top, and I actually don't use mine. So the way that I pack our plane bags is Paulie has everything he needs. I don't need much, so he has everything he needs in his plane bag, and it goes under his seat, and then my bag is like everything we might need, but it can go up in the thingy and I don't need to worry about it. And then I just have like a small bag that I can put my stuff in that I really need in front of the plane, or in that like pocket in front of your seat, or what's it called, in his bag. So I thought I would just show you how I done it, because traveling that distance from Sydney to London by yourself with a child is quite challenging. I felt fine. He was such a good boy, I cannot complain, but yeah, it just really helped me, and how I've packed really helped us. So I thought I would show you how I packed traveling with a 2-year-old or a 1.5-year-old, and how it made like a 24-hour flight not so stressful. So I'll start off with so my handbag, I have just a small crossbody bag. It has like a pocket at the front here, like the main compartment, and a pocket at the back. So it fits our passports and our tickets in perfectly at the back, so they're easy access. And then obviously just my phone and my charger and that in the front, and anything else that I know I'm going to need. Like I had heartburn tablets and Panadol or paracetamol in here, and it was just easy, and I could actually put that under the seat. So that was my handbag that I used. And then Paulie's bag was actually his old nappy bag. So what I'd done is I had brought this cooler from Amazon. I think it was like $24 to keep his milks in. So what I have is, these were his bottles. They're just I can't even tell you what, the big size. I think it's, I don't even know, I've had them so long, all the things come off them. 250ml Tommy Tippy bottles. So I have 4 of those, and I fill up completely with milk. And then I have a spare one that has either half milk in it or no milk in it, depending. Like, he might have even drank that one on, I have a spare bottle basically. So and then what I do to warm it up, depends on your airline, but the airline that I flew with last year, BA, they didn't have a facility to heat it up. Like, they literally brought me out his milk. I gave him a full milk and I said, can you just put it in for like 30 seconds or warm it up a little bit? And they brought it, it was so hot I couldn't even hold this, like it was so hot. So what I've done was I have four full bottles, and then I divide it in half, so it means that I have like 8 milks, and then I just ask for a cup of hot water, and then I top it up, and it seemed to be the perfect temperature for him. Fit in there nicely. I also have this little snack container that I filled up. I have a few of these. I actually have 4 of these, but I think I only took 2 or 3, and I filled up one with like sweets, another one with dried fruit, and then I think I've done another one with like crisps or something, and they all just fitted in there, and I put my snacks in there. So that was kind of like the drink snack compartment. I did also take his flask with him for just some normal water or juice. Also have his other sippy cup because he's like his mother and he likes multiple drinks, and this is also a glow in the dark one. This is his nighttime cup, so I wanted to take it with us, but I wanted to have some options. So then I also took 3 different books. I took this colours book as like an educational book. He is starting to learn different things, and I thought I'll take something to challenge his mind in case he gets really bored. But I also got him to pick 2 books, and these are his 2 favourite at the minute. Yeah, it's just a Digosaurus one and a farm one. He loves these 2 books. Yeah, they fitted in quite nicely, wasn't too heavy or anything. I also have this colouring pad and a colouring pencil case to keep him entertained. And with the colours, found that these, is it the Crayola Twistables? They are like the best thing to travel with because they don't really break. They're not like a pencil and you don't need to keep sharpening them. They were really good to travel with. But I did also put in some different crayons and pencils that he has. And he's learning to hold a pen, so we had this as well. And it all just fitted in his little suitcase, in his little pencil case. He didn't actually use this at all, but he used it when we got to England, so it was quite good. But it was an option that fitted in his bag quite nicely, in case, you know, it's just like, you just think of everything, don't you? You want them to be entertained. I bought him these little headphones. He had these last year actually. He had these little headphones. He didn't use them last year, but he did use them this time. And yeah, it connected into the ports for the on-screen, and also his iPad that I took, which just had, I say his iPad, it's actually mine, but he probably uses it more than I do. But yeah, so I downloaded like loads of different, like a few different films on like Disney Plus, Netflix, and he seemed quite happy with them. And he also liked the selection. When we travelled last year, he didn't use these, but I still used the iPad, but he would not put these on his head. He wanted the iPad, so I just turned the volume down so quietly. He just basically was watching a screen, but he was fine with it and he quite liked it, so that's different. He actually used the headphones this time. I don't have them in here because when we flew, so just before we flew, Paulie was fighting me putting a nappy on. Like, we'd have to do it when he went to sleep. Like, he is potty trained during the day, but at night time he was still quite wet and he still needed a nappy. So our flights were like 3 PM, so we left Sydney at 3 PM, and he hadn't had a sleep, and I knew he would probably have a sleep, and I knew he'd be okay without a nappy on for a nap, but I didn't know how long he was going to sleep in that. I didn't know how long he was going to sleep for, so I wanted to put a nappy on him, and he wouldn't and let me. Like, I went to the toilet once we were up in the air, and he literally was fighting and screaming and banging on the wall so hard that the air hostess come over and was like, "Is everything okay in there?" And I was just like, "Oh yeah, just trying to put a nappy on my child." Oh, so I didn't put a nappy on. I put a nappy on him once he had fallen asleep on the seat, and I just hoped it didn't wake him up. And it didn't, which was fine. That's how I travelled out. But coming back, he was like, no, we had gone no nappies the whole time we were in England. We had had lots of accidents. It drove me insane, but that's for another video. So yeah, I didn't have any nappies when I flew back. When I flew to England, I think I packed maybe about 5 nappies in his bag, just to be on the safe side. I just thought you could never run out, and I was going to use them anyway. So yeah, when I flew out I had nappies, but then when I flew back I had some of these puppy pads that I just, you know, they're quite big. I just put on his seat, once he'd fallen asleep, I just put on his seat, just so that if he did wet, he wet on this, he didn't wet on a seat. And then, like, you know, because our flight is, one part of our flight is 14 hours. So can you imagine if he'd wet himself, like within the first couple of hours he's got to sit on a wet seat, or me for that matter. So that was quite good. I had that in like just a pocket in the bag. I also had some hand and face wipes and some normal wipes, some nappy bags and some nappy cream. He doesn't normally, and I did have, he doesn't normally suffer with a nappy rash or anything, but when we flew last year, he started, I think it was before we even got on the plane, for some reason he was really red when I changed him before we got on the plane. So I just picked up like a cream, I can't remember what it's called now, just like a fungal cream sort of thing. So I thought, well, we're going to be on a plane for a long time, it's not going to have a lot of air to it. So I did just put like a fungal cream on it, which was recommended by a pharmacy. But I did also this time just put a nappy balm on him just to protect it, because it's just a long time when you're traveling without having a shower and freshening up. So yeah, that all just fitted in there. In this front, there's a front pocket, I don't know if you can quite see that. I had some tissues and I had 4 dummies in there because my child loves his dummy, and I thought, oh my god, I'm not losing one. And I managed the whole trip with 4 dummies, and I've come back and I'm down to 1. So there we go. But yeah, so that's how it was. It does have handles, but it also has a strap, so I would just hold it on myself. Yeah, and his bag fitted quite nicely with everything in it, really. It wasn't too bad, and like I say, that just went in under, I mean, it was packed solid, couldn't fit. Oh, and the other thing that I did put in was, I bought him this pig pillow at the airport, because when I was trying to pack to leave, he decided to unpack my bag and I didn't realise he took my phone charger out. And I wouldn't normally worry, but when you're doing a 24-hour flight, I think you need a charger, basically. And I was by myself, so it was just a little pig pillow. It rolls up, it has some Velcro, and he kept seeing it, and it was only like $20, which is a lot of money, but he has a pillow at home. It's a little lion pillow and he loves it, and I wanted to take it with us. It's just like part of his comfort thing, but I just couldn't fit it in any of our bags to travel with. So we got him this. It was this little plain pillow, and it was actually amazing because like you only get 2 pillows and they're quite thin anyway. So yeah, this was what else came, and that just fitted right on top, and that was his plain bag basically filled up. And yeah, perfect. In mine, so I have always travelled with my Louis Vuitton Holdall as my plain bag, because you can fit so much in it, and they're just easy and they're quite comfortable to carry. But carrying both on my shoulders this time I really struggled with, especially because when in our layover we were delayed, so it was like 3 hours of carrying it, because Paulie just was running up and down the travelator, which was fine because I was like, this means you might sleep on the flight, which is absolutely fine. Because from when I check in to when I first board the planes, I actually have my pram, which works out perfect because I just put everything in there. But obviously I don't get once I board the plane, I don't get it till my destination. So in my layovers I don't have the pram, so carrying the 2 bags really helped. That's what I really struggled with this time, so that's why I opted for the case. The only thing is I didn't realise is that they actually weigh your bags. I've never had my plane bags weighed, and when we flew back with Emirates, and they actually weighed your carry case, and I was like way over, like I was way over, but it was fun. She let me go. I was very lucky, and yeah, that was perfect. So in my bag I just have another little bag. So because I travel with Paulie, who is one different nationality. I'm obviously British, he's Australian, he has a different surname to me, and if I'm quite honest, I don't think my child looks anything like me, but he is definitely mine. I have to travel with a lot of paperwork, so I put it all in this little bag, like, of important stuff, and I just have to travel with my birth certificate, his birth certificate, my relationship birth certificate, my relationship certificate with Brandon, because obviously both our names are on there, and I also have to travel with a letter signed by Brandon. I have only ever been asked for that once, and it was last year when we actually landed in London. They asked to see the birth certificate proof that he was my child, so I was like, okay, I've actually got this child out of Australia, but whatever. And then in here I also have some Monique, this is laxatives for kids. Paulie is better now, but before we left he struggled. He's struggled since he was like 9 months old, and I've just got it under control. Without any laxatives, thank goodness. But I just took some laxatives in case he was really struggling, because it's so uncomfortable for him and he can scream, and I just thought if he struggles I can give him a laxative. So I just have 2 sachets and I just add them into his milk, and that's fine. I just have some antibacterial wipes in here. I also put, so it's easy for me to get out, are liquids. So I normally travel with like my face serum, my bag, just so I can just make myself feel a little bit more fresher. And I also have a face mask, an eye mask. I do put my headphones in here. I just have the little AirPods, and I actually sometimes just put this under my seat. Like, this goes with my handbag under my seat. Seems to work quite nicely if there's anything else that I want to put in there. Yeah, so that's a nice little size. I also have, so Paulie suffers with asthma, so I just have his little asthma puffer in my bag. Like I say, it's not essential, but it's there if I need it, and it's just up in the cabin case. I also have this. It's one of those little rain things. You put them on and then it's got, like, it's actually longer, a little handle thing. I found this really helpful last year. So it meant that Paulie could walk around in the airport, but he didn't want to hold my hand, but I still had him. The only thing is, it is like a dog lead, and if he's out full, you're still going to cut people up, but I'd rather cut people up than have him wandering and no eyes in the back of my head. I didn't use it this time, but it was a godsend last time. And what I quite like about this one is that this handle bit can actually come off, so he can just wear this as like a little backpack teddy thing, or it's got a little pocket in the back, and I just tended to leave it attached but tuck in. So if it was on him, I can just tuck it in, so I didn't have to keep taking it on and off. Yeah, and like I said, didn't use it this time, but last time it was really good. But yeah, it was a bit annoying because he cut people up, but this time he's much more aware of his surroundings and he does stay a lot closer to me, so that's good. And then the last thing, I think, yeah, I also have these. I actually had one of these, sorry. I asked Paulie to select some toys, so I said you can have some little cars. So he loves his Hot Wheels cars and he loves his like dinosaurs and little toys, farm animals. So I said get some little cars and your dinosaurs, put them in here, and then it's like one of those bikini swim bags, like they're waterproof inside, but it went in his, it also went in his like his toys, one went in his bag, but this one I put 3 outfits for Paulie in, like to change and in case he wet. So when we flew last year, he was in these all-in-ones at night time, so when I wanted him to sleep, I put him in that just so he got used to it, and also like his top didn't ride up and he got cold or anything when we were, because sometimes planes can be cold. So I done 3 pajamas last year and 3 changes of clothes, which was fun. This time I done 3 changes of clothes plus what he had on, so he had 4 sets of clothes in case he wet, and that included everything from like top, jumper, socks, pants, and then I think I even put a few more pairs of pants in the bag as well. And that, like, and then did I have another one? I think I had the spare one, so I just had one empty for in case he did, and he did wet, so then I could still keep his clothes dry and then keep his wet ones separate, and they don't like let any smell out or anything, so they're actually quite good. And I did just put a spare change of clothes and undies in my bag for me in case he got me, like, and actually he did. On the way out there, he fell asleep on me and he weed on me. So that was lovely, but that was fun. I just changed when I changed him, and I found that quite, yeah, that is basically. Oh, I also put my laptop in my bag and my camera, and that's fine. And I think that's it. I did have my pram. Now I looked at getting a travel pram, but if I'm honest, I am so blessed. Like one of the reasons I bought my pram, I have an Upper Baby Vista, is because of the basket. The basket is so big. I think it's like one of the biggest baskets on the market, especially here in Australia anyway. And I love it. And so when I went and looked last year at travel prams, I was like, I have no space and I'm doing this by myself, so I'm basically just having a pram to put him in. Like I can't put anything in the bottom. Like I couldn't even properly fit, like I could be able to put my handbag in, like that would be it. So I phoned the airline and I was like, what's your restrictions on prams? And every airline that I've flown with, so I've flown with BA, Qantas and Emirates, and they all say as long as it collapses into one piece. So mine does. Mine folds down into one piece, and I done that. The only thing that I wish I had done is invested in a travel bag, because it did get completely scratched, which didn't bother me because it had a few scratches anyway. It's like 3 years old. I've used this pram every single day since Paulie's been born, so the scratching didn't bother me, but they did snap my seat, like my footrest like tilts, and they did snap that, and my leather handles got really badly scuffed, which just a little annoying things, but it doesn't bother. Like the seat obviously I needed to replace, but that's fine. So yeah, I wish I had actually invested in the bag, but I didn't, but whatever. But yeah, you just have to check with your airline. And the other thing I would say is when you check in online, or before you check in online, because I think it has to be done like, some are 42 and some are 48 or 72 hours before check-in, is if you're flying with a child, book them a child meal, because when I flew with BA, Paulie didn't need a seat, but we paid the extra, I think it was extra $200 for him to have a seat, rather than him sitting on me for 24 hours, which would not have gone down. So he had his own seat, and I booked him, he's always 2, and obviously you put their age in, and I booked him for a child's meal, which was fine. But the seat behind us, that family had 2 children, and I think a child is under the age of 12, and they were like 9 and 8 or something, and so they were booked under as a child, but she hadn't selected a child's meal, and so they got adult meals, which is so silly. Like, if it's a child's seat, it should come with a child's meal. But that's the one thing I would say, is just check it out. We flew out this time when we flew with Qantas, because I booked my flight on the Tuesday night and I flew on the Friday afternoon. My confirmation didn't come through until the Wednesday evening, like 24 hours later, and the close off time had actually happened for like selecting a meal. So I did phone them on the Thursday morning and I explained, and they were like, yeah, no, that's fine. The woman, bless her, had put Paulie down as a baby, so when they're bringing the meals out, obviously like special meals, like if you have intolerances and obviously kids meals, they come out first before everyone else's. She literally bought me pureed food, like 4-month-old, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, it's fine, I'll just go for the plain option on the dinners, he'll eat mine. But luckily there was a spare and they bought that out for him. But yeah, just check, that's one thing I would say. But yeah, apart from that, I think that is everything. That is me travelling to England and back twice. Will I do it again pregnant? No. I hope I never have to. I hope I never have to do it again pregnant. I really struggle, especially coming back this time, bending down and stuff, like having obviously a bump. Well, it was like 28.5 weeks. That was really hard. But I just wore loose, comfortable clothing. Yeah, and it was fine. I can't complain. Paulie was an absolute dream for me. And do you know what? Most of the kids are. I think as long as you have some of their own creature comforts, and you just, like, especially if you're doing like such a big flight, like 24 hours or something, just burn that energy. Like, we did not stop. When I say I walked for 3 hours during our when we flew to London, so we stopped off at Singapore. I think our first flight was 8 hours, and then from Singapore was 3 hours up and down the travelators. Everyone kept asking, it was funny because everyone kept asking me like, how many steps have you done? I'd done over 10,000 steps in 3 hours, because he just wanted to keep going. But it was fine because he slept, because the next flight was 14 hours and he slept for 12 of it. So if it works, it works. But yeah, that's everything that we packed, and that's my little tips and tricks, and I really hope that it will help someone. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below, and if you want me to if you want a link or anything, I can try and find something similar or to the same as what we've got. Most of the things that I did buy were on Amazon, or just things that we had at home. I didn't really buy too much. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that it will help someone out there. Okay, see you later, bye.